YouTube and then just share this. But
Sure, sounds good.
yeah, what's up, guys? If you can hear me, type in here. Let me
So we're
just
on
check
YouTube, on YouTube right now, or on Twitter, or both.
It says right now I'm on YouTube.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. Okay.
yeah, but it seems that YouTube is lagging a bit. So someone in the YouTube audience, whoever is, it looks like no one is watching us, but that's okay.
All
But
good.
yeah, man, it looks like we have one viewer. That's probably
Hey.
myself. But anyway, I have never tried the StreamYard before, so it's only like one. It's
Gotcha.
only like apparently like one.
Mm,
It's only like apparently like one. I don't know how to explain it. It's only like one stream thing that you can use to like Twitter and stuff,
right.
and that's what makes it really really weird. And
Yeah.
that's what sucks. I wish you could do it for more. But without further ado, let me just start this or share it. Let me just share this live on my Twitter, and if you could just retweet this,
Oh
would
yeah, I
be
can retweet
helpful.
that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect. So yeah, I just shared it on my Twitter and I tagged you.
All right, cool. Let me give that a retweet.
Perfect. It seems like someone is watching us. Cool. So yeah, while you retweet that, I'll introduce you. I think everyone knows you though. But hey everyone, today I'm here with the legend himself, Rishab, and we're gonna have a really great conversation about the Chicago Bears. And I'm just really excited to talk to him. But without further ado, Rishab, let's just get started. And you know what? Let's talk about Justin Fields and just talk to me about the feelings that you felt about when we drafted Justin.
Sure, man. I mean, I don't know if you saw my reaction video that I posted on my channel, but I was going wild, man, because I mean, like you guys know, like this was the guy I wanted for a long time. For like 2 or 3 months, I was like, if Justin Fields falls, the Bears have to make a move. And like to that day, I didn't think it was actually possible. I thought it was just like us dreaming of something that's not going to happen. But when I saw him fall down the board, I was like, oh my God, is this actually going to happen? And then, you saw the Broncos pass up on him. You saw the Panthers pass up on him. Then we traded up to number 11 overall. And even at that point, I was kind of scared that we're going to select Mac Jones, even though that wouldn't make any sense at all. But Ryan Pace has done some pretty stupid stuff in the past. So I was really scared. But when I saw on the screen, okay, Justin Fields to the Chicago Bears, I was just completely lost it, man. Like I was so happy. That's probably the happiest moment in my entire time being a Bears fan. Like I'm not even kidding, because there hasn't been too many happy moments. Like we've seen. So I was pretty happy.
Yeah, of course. Like I had the same reaction, and like I was so nervous when the draft was happening that I couldn't watch it. And I'm very active in the Discord that you made. So like I couldn't even like I was always on Discord 24/7 when the draft was happening, and you just see Fields dropping and dropping and dropping, and you know so like when Denver was picking, like I said, like, okay, you know what? We're not getting Fields. Denver's totally taking Justin. So like I was like, yeah, Denver's gonna take them. Why not? So then like I was so stressed that Denver was gonna take them that I went and played the piano. And while I'm playing the piano, I get this this notification. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the Bears traded. Oh, I just saw that notification. I'm like, okay, the Bears traded up for who? Mac Jones or Justin Fields? So I looked at it, and it was Justin Fields. I think that right after Denver did not take Fields, I think we all knew that at that point we were probably picking Fields because it was just inevitable that the Bears were trading up.
Yeah.
and it seemed like it was going to be Fields. And what was really interesting though is I watched 1920, like the Chicago Bears documentary,
Oh
and
yeah.
while I was watching that, they actually had a scout at Alabama. So it's like, oh wow, it seems like the Bears scouted Mac Jones. So like I was really happy that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy went with Fields instead of Mac Jones.
Yeah, same here. I mean, yeah, we all saw on Twitter they're also talking about how the Bears are interested in Mac Jones, and that would have made more sense honestly because back then we didn't know that Fields was going to drop that far, but Mac Jones, a lot of people thought he was going to drop to like pick number, 10, 15 beyond. So if I mean, if Fields didn't drop, then I could have definitely saw us trading up for Mac Jones because the Pats obviously got him without trading up, but Bears could have moved to like 13, 14 to, to pick him, but happy we didn't.
Yeah, no, for sure. So while we're on the topic of Justin Fields, and that'll probably be a good portion of our live. When do you envision? Well, actually, first of all, do you think that Justin Fields will beat out Andy Dalton in OTAs and then in mandatory minicamp, which starts next week, I believe?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it seems like so far he's already beating him by like a lot because all the reports are saying like how Dalton he's already throwing 3 interceptions against backup level players. So Dalton's not looking too hot. And then every single report about Fields, it's all positive. Like Fields is looking accurate here. He's doing this, he's doing that. All his teammates already love him. And like I haven't seen like the Bears players talk anything positive about Andy Dalton. Like obviously I mean, they don't hate him because he's going to be the quarterback. But if it seems like the entire team already is kind of viewing Justin Fields as their leader. So if you have the support of the team already, if you're looking better in OTAs, I think he has a really good shot at starting week 1. Obviously, there's still like training camp, still like preseason football too. So if he doesn't look good in preseason, then I could still see, um, Andy Dalton starting, but as of what I've seen so far, I think Justin Fields is going to be starting week 1.
Yeah, I do too. And if you really look at how minicamp has been going, Adam Hodge reported that we had most of our starters at minicamp. And that's just like really, really huge. I mean, OTAs, but that's just really, really huge to see that Justin Fields effect. And then we got news that Allen Robinson came to minicamp. Like he was one of the players who we thought would kind of hold out, but
Mhm.
yet Allen Robinson was there, and he just was having he just came there, and you have to think that hey, if a guy like Allen Robinson, who if he wanted to could sit out, is there, then you have to think that all these players are really excited for Fields, and we've all and like even at the Cubs game yesterday, you could see how
Mhm.
excited all those fans were, and we could see like all of the players who came with it. And this is no disrespect to Mitch, but it just seems like from the players' side, from all these players, they're really excited that they have Justin Fields on their team, and I'm excited too. I mean, I'm really excited to see Justin Fields debut as a Bear. I don't know when it will happen though, but what do you think? Do you think it's going to happen week 1, or do you think the Lions game?
Yeah, so in my video I posted like a couple weeks ago, I predicted the Lions game week 4 because the first 3 games are pretty tough. I mean, obviously the Bengals game isn't that tough, but it would make sense to put Dalton in there for 3 games, kind of see how it works out. And if he's the same old Dalton, then you can replace him with Fields in a pretty easy game in week 4. But again, like I said, if he's clearly the better quarterback in like training camp and OTAs, if the team already supports him, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to start Dalton because then why would you? Like you're still trying to win games this year. I mean, we don't even have our first round pick, so we obviously have to try to win as many games as possible. So I kind of changed my mind. I think he's starting week 1 now for sure. I mean, according to what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I made a video like a couple weeks ago. And even the video that went viral about my Chris Sims video and how you really want Justin Fields to get in there early. And the reason is if you look at Justin Fields' squads, and it's kind of that processing time, it's kind of that, him anticipating pressure. And that's only going to help when he gets in an NFL when he gets into an NFL game. And when he gets in, like when he plays an NFL game, that'll really happen and stuff. And so, like, I want Justin Fields to start early so he can get that experience. And, you know, Justin Fields is, I think you would agree with me, Justin Fields is not Mitchell Trubisky. He does not need that much work. The guy needs that guy needs time. And, you know, in these big moments, he has been able to succeed. And I just think that, hey, why not? Why not go with Justin Fields for the year? What do you have to lose? I mean, the best is that, hey, Justin Fields somehow takes us to the playoffs. The worst is that, you know, we don't win a lot of games, but at least we got him that experience. And I firmly believe that if Justin Fields starts, I think there's a decent chance we can make the playoffs. And you might be thinking, people who are watching this, oh, rookie quarterbacks tend to not make the playoffs. But we made the playoffs in the past 2 years with a guy named Mitchell Trubisky. Justin Fields is 10 times talented than Mitchell Trubisky, and he probably would lead us into the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, the rest of our team right now, it's honestly not as bad as people think. Like the team, I mean, I talked about this earlier in one of my other videos, but the team that Fields is walking into, right? It's like 100 times better than the team that Mitch walked into in 2017. Like back then in 2017, we had, you know, 3-13 season the year prior. We had practically no talent on. We had some talent on defense, but it wasn't like an elite defense by any means. We had no receivers. We had no tight ends. We had like nothing on the offense at all. And if you compare that to right now, you know, obviously we have, you know, we went 8-8 last year and we made the playoffs, you know, 2 out of the last 3 years. So we have a lot of talent on defense still, even though, you know, I don't know if it's going to be a good defense, but at least we have talent. Receiving talent is a lot better, like Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. We have tight ends. We have really good running backs now. So, yeah, I think this roster, honestly, if it had a good quarterback, which I don't know if Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback in year one, but if he's even like a, you know, above average quarterback, like we could definitely make the playoffs. I mean, I think it also depends on if Green Bay, you know, what they do with Aaron Rodgers, right? Because if they keep Aaron Rodgers, I think we're probably losing both Green Bay games. But if Aaron Rodgers leaves, I think we can win both those games, and then we can most definitely make the playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers for a second. Do you think he stays or do you think he leaves next year?
I don't know, dude. So if I had to bet money on it, I mean, because it's really tough to see them trading him right now because it's just like Jordan Love, according to them, is just not ready. So, I mean, if you have the MVP of the league from last year, you're going to try as hard as you can to not trade him. But it seems like Rodgers, like he's not even showing up to camp now, OTAs. And if he doesn't show up to, you know, training camp, which is in July, then I would definitely say that they're probably going to trade him, you know, sometime around that time. But I don't know, man. There's like a really good chance he doesn't play next year in Green Bay, but there's also a chance that he does stay. So I don't even know what to think. But I'm just happy to see all the chaos, man, because Packers fans are really mad right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I guess, yeah, it really depends on where things go. But for me personally, with the news that we're getting, I just like, if you would ask me right now, do you think Aaron Rodgers is leaving? I probably would say probably not. I do think he would leave probably because of the circumstances that he has with the management and with Goots, and you know, it's not even Matt LaFleur's fault. But like, I just don't know if Rodgers will stay. I don't think so because of how the situation is. If he were staying, he probably would have showed up to OTAs, but he didn't, and those were mandatory, and he didn't. If he definitely doesn't show up in July, yeah, there's 100% chance that he's gone. But speaking of Matt LaFleur, I saw your tweet. I saw what you talked about Matt LaFleur and how like how you kind of believe that Matt LaFleur was a bit overrated, and I have to agree with you. I was looking at head coaching rankings, and they had Matt LaFleur as a top 5 coach, ahead of Sean. And to me, that just seems a little bit crazy because the only reason that he is there is because of Aaron Rodgers. It's like any coach with LeBron. Like if any coach has LeBron, they're going to be really good. And that's the same thing with Rodgers. And, you know, even like Bill Belichick, is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and that's because he's had successes without Brady. But with Matt LaFleur, I just don't see that. I just think that Rodgers is why he's successful. Once he leaves, we're gonna really see if Matt LaFleur is successful. Like you could plug in Matt Nagy into the Green Bay system, and Matt Nagy would be successful. You can plug in like the worst head coach in there, like I don't know, like you could put in Bill O'Brien, for example, and Bill O'Brien would succeed. And I don't know. I think that that Matt LaFleur is overrated. What about you?
Yeah, I think he's overrated too. I mean, he hasn't done much. He hasn't coached much without Rodgers. Obviously, the only notable coaching experience he had was being offensive coordinator, I think, of the Titans, I want to say. And I think they didn't have a good offense that year. Like, they had a pretty bad offense, but he still got the job in Green Bay because I think Aaron Rodgers liked him. But like you said, man, like, I don't think any coach in the NFL like is gonna fail with Aaron Rodgers. Like, that guy is doing most of the stuff on his own. I mean, obviously the play design is Matt LaFleur's specialty, and like he's a good play designer to some extent. But like, you can be as good of a play designer as you want to be, and it doesn't matter if you don't have a good quarterback. Like, we've seen that kind of with Matt Nagy too. I mean, Matt Nagy does have a lot of question marks, but he did try his best, at least at the end, to kind of change his offense to Mitch Trubisky's strengths. But we saw that doesn't work against like good defenses because Mitch isn't a good quarterback. So I think it 100% depends on how good of a quarterback you have. And there's only like, I would say like 3 or 4 coaches in the entire NFL that can coach, bad quarterbacks to success, like Sean McVay, like you said, Bill Belichick, and like maybe 1 or 2 others, but it's all on the quarterback. So, I mean, yeah, next year we're going to see if Matt LaFleur is a good coach. If Jordan Love has a good year, then I'll take back everything I say. Or if Blake Bortles has a good year too, then I'll take back everything I say. But as of now, I think he's overrated for sure.
What about your thoughts on our head coach, Matt Nagy? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's underrated? What are your thoughts on him? Because like 2018, I feel like he was successful. I mean, if you look at Mitch and what he had to do with Mitch, the fact that he got that much success from him is a win. But then you also look at the defense that we had in 2018, and that kind of hinders that success a little bit. But what about you? Do you think Matt Nagy is a good coach? Do you think he's underrated or overrated?
So I think he's overrated by the media, but underrated by the fans, because it seems like the media gives him a little bit too much credit sometimes for, getting us to the playoffs. Because like you said, I mean, the defense was a good portion of why we got to the playoffs, at least in 2018. Like, that team was built on that defense. Without that defense, we wouldn't even be close to the playoffs. So 2018, even though, our offense was decent, Nagy was a good coach. He obviously won Coach of the Year. I would give most of the credit, in that year to Vic Fangio for that phenomenal defense. But, the media, though, I really feel like they talk a little bit too much about how Nagy is, going 8, or he made the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years, right? Like, they're not really giving that much credit to the defense or other parts of our team. But on the other hand, the fan base, they're all like, oh, Matt Nagy is the worst coach ever. Okay, he ruined Mitch Trubisky. He's not having a good offense, which I think is a little bit unfair because, like we said, he doesn't have a good quarterback to work with, maybe not good personnel. So I feel like the truth is kind of in the middle. Like, he's not the best of the best coach by any means right now. Like, he couldn't do a lot with Mitch. But on the other hand, Mitch maybe was not a good quarterback. And, we want to see him with a better quarterback. So I think the jury's still out, and next year, we're probably going to see what he's actually made of.
Exactly. I think that with Mitch, it's really hard to judge if that was on Mitch or Matt Nagy, because there are certain points on when Matt Nagy drew up plays, excellent plays, and Mitch failed to read those plays. And Mitch failed to execute those plays. Then again, you have the argument that other people are bringing up, Matt Nagy haters, and that's the fact that Matt Nagy failed to develop Mitchell Trubisky, failed to play to Mitchell Trubisky's strengths. And that's a really good point. Like, if you look at what Bill Lazor did, Bill Lazor ran a lot of PA. He really, really made the playbook easy for Mitch. But then again, we played the Packers, and Mitch struggled. and he struggled quite a bit. And then we played the Saints, and he struggled quite a bit. Now, you can probably say, some people in the comment section might say, oh, well, Matt Nagy took over play calling. And, we don't know if that's true or not. And we're going to have to find out this year, is Matt Nagy the real deal? And if he's not, we should fire him. And I've been seeing this on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the head coaches that I would like to see the Bears bring in, if they fire Matt Nagy, is Mitchell Trubisky's offensive coordinator in Buffalo. I really like that head coach in Buffalo. I think he's going to be an excellent head coach in the future, and I would just really love to see the Bears go and get that guy. I forgot his name; it's not coming to me at the
Brian Dabo, right? Brian Dabo.
Yeah, Brian Dabo.
Yeah,
he's an excellent head coach, and if we look at how he played, how Josh Allen plays, this is Justin Fields plays. They're very similar quarterbacks. Now, the one problem with that, though, is that the Bills don't run a lot. And I was watching this interesting video by Jamie Live, and he says that the Bills should run more. And I agree with that. But I also think that he also discussed like how whenever the Bills ran, it never worked. So that's kind of a concern for me. But if the Bears were to fire Matt Nagy, Brian Dabo is a guy who I would want.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's obviously had a lot of success with Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, the year before this year, like there was a lot of question marks about him. Like nobody thought he was going to be an MVP level quarterback, and nobody even thought the Bills were going to be this good. So yeah, he's really turned around Josh Allen's career. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I don't know of many names off the top of my head right now for, Matt Nagy replacements, but any offensive coordinator, I mean, we would probably have to go offensive, minded for our coach, because, having a young quarterback in there, that's usually what you do for your young quarterback, get him an offensive minded coach. But yeah, Brian Dabo I think he'd be a nice option.
Yeah, perfect. We got a few comments here that I just want to read out. First of all, Isaiah, thank you so much for watching my live. It means a lot to me. Troy, yeah, Mike make did not do well with Rodgers. You are right. Like if you look at what happened with Rodgers and his head coach last year, that wasn't good. And you could see like how he really benefited having Rodgers. And Troy, we're doing really well. We're talking about the Bears. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask us in the comment section and also subscribe. But with that being said, DWC, when you look at our team, what position do you see as the weakest position?
Weakest position would be, I would say probably cornerback. Just because there's like not a lot of depth there. We obviously have like a good one in Jalen Johnson probably, but he's also like super young. I'm not really used to being a number one corner in this league. So yeah, we lost Kyle Fuller, which I still don't really understand. I know it was to free up cap space, but there could have been a lot of other moves we could have done to free up that cap space besides cutting Kyle Fuller, because he's been the number one corner for us here for like a long, long time now. So getting rid of Kyle Fuller probably makes us pretty weak at corner, because, aside from Jalen Johnson, like who do we have? Like, obviously we have a bunch of prospects, but nobody really proven to take that number 2 role or nickel corner. Like we don't really know who's going to be there, right? Is it going to be Kendall Vildor? Is it going to be Thomas Graham? Duke Shelley. So there's a lot of question marks right now at corner. I still think we can be good. It depends on like how these players develop, but there's no like solid answers for us there.
Yeah, Isaiah asks, why didn't we get any picks for Kyle Fuller? And I believe that Ryan Pace, he definitely tried to trade him, but the other GMs knew that with the cap situation that we had and with us being so depleted at the cap, they were not going to give up that much for Kyle Fuller. And they knew that once Kyle Fuller was let go, they would probably sign him for nothing. So that's kind of why we didn't get any picks for Kyle Fuller. I mean, I think that if you're Ryan Pace, you probably should have done a better job in hiding that. And we could have easily got like a first or a second or a high pick for Kyle Fuller. I'm surprised that we didn't get anything. I mean, you're right. We should have definitely got something for Kyle Fuller. The fact that we let him go for nothing is just awful. But hey, it is what it is. And you know what? Losing Kyle Fuller brought in another guy by the name of Justin Fields. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. But yeah, for me too, I think that corner is a really weak position. And there are a ton of corners that we can go and pick up. For example, I made a video about Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson is a really underrated cornerback. He's only like 28, I believe, like 29, around the same age as Kyle Fuller, a little bit younger. But he had very similar stats to Stephon Gilmore, and he would really help us out, day one. And also another guy like is Richard Sherman. What about you, man? Who do you think we should pick up at corner? Because I definitely think that we need someone to pick up.
Yeah, it depends like how much money you want to spend on corner, because I think we still might go after the offensive tackles, because there's still like a decent amount available. I tweeted about Morgan Moses today. Like hopefully that happens. Hopefully we can sign Morgan Moses. But if we sign one of the offensive tackles, we're probably not going to have that much money to spend, because then it would only be like 3 or 4 million at the most to spend unless you make some other moves. So with that money, Richard Sherman's probably out. Steven Nelson too. Like I don't know how much he would sign for. Like, I mean, he's obviously kind of old now. No team is picking up now, so the market value is probably not that high right now. So maybe if he wants a cheap 1-year deal with the Bears, we could do that. Because he's a guy that has a lot to prove still in the NFL. Because no team is signing him right now. So I like Steven Nelson.
Yeah, Isaiah X. What about Khalil Mack and Hicks contracts? I believe that we restructured Mack, and for Hicks, that's just really, really complicated. I mean, we got reports this week that we're still looking to trade Hicks, which is really worrisome, which is really scary. So it still seems like that Hicks contract is something that is something that we still need to work around. But just thinking from your comment, Isaiah, what we could do is restructure Jimmy Graham's contract, probably cut him. But DWC, I think you know more about contracts than I do, so I'll let you take that question.
Yeah. So wait, what was the question exactly? It was about.
He basically asks about Khalil Mack and Hicks's contracts and how that's kind of impacting us.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Mac, we restructured. So his salary is going to be mainly pushed towards future years. Now he's actually not getting paid a lot this year. So Mac is kind of pushed in the future. And for Hicks, yeah, I don't think we didn't restructure anything with him. So his cap hit is pretty much all this year. And that's kind of why there was like trade rumors, right? Because if you want more cap space to sign somebody else, you could get rid of Hicks and free up like 10, 11 million dollars. Like all that money gets freed up practically this year. So I kind of hope they don't do that, because he's still the leader of our defense, like the vocal leader, the energy of our entire team. Unless they want to sign like a star player, like, I don't know, like Richard Sherman or Morgan Moses. But even then, like, then you're taking away from what you already have to add to another position, which I don't know if that's the best idea. But yeah, that's pretty much the cap situation. And like you said, I mean, Jimmy Graham too, like we could cut him and save a lot of money and then re-sign him on a cheaper deal for 3 million, maybe somewhere around there, because I think that's what his value is right now, right? Because he's 34 years old. Didn't really do that much for us outside the end zone where he had like a lot of touchdowns. But yeah, that's another move we could make.
Yeah, for sure. So, Isaiah, you asked if we trade Akeem, I believe, and we get picks. Yeah, we could definitely get a pick. I'm not sure what we could get though. What do you think we could get for Akeem? Like maybe like a fourth?
I don't know, man. It's tough because usually, like, you've seen the trade value of like every player in the NFL, right? It's like so low. Like even Julio Jones, he only went for like a second rounder and a fourth rounder, even though he's like one of the best receivers in the NFL. So I think that since Akeem Hicks is pretty old and he's also on a 1-year deal, I would probably say like fifth, sixth rounder is something you could expect. Just because teams are like they can find younger players in the draft nowadays like pretty easily. So I would say around that.
For sure. And we'll have to see where that goes, but I don't think Akeem wants to get traded. I mean, you talked about this on your Twitter. Why would Akeem want to go when we have such a great team around him? Like we have Fields, we have this really big team, we have this really good team around us. Like for sure, like when he requested a trade, we just signed Andy Dalton. We just signed all these guys, and yeah, we were in danger, and I agree with that. But now it's a really good team here, and
I
that
also
I
think
don't
that,
see why.
dude, I posted on my Instagram story about this, but I think that he might have been like kind of hurt by the fact that we tried to move him before the draft. Maybe it's like kind of he got slighted by that, like, oh, you don't want me anymore. So maybe that's why he wants to be traded. But again, like you said, like there's no reason why he would want to leave now when we finally have a good quarterback. So
Yeah, for sure. So we only have 10 more minutes with you. I know you have to go somewhere. But yeah, Anthony, I don't think Hicksel could traded. You are right. And Floyd, yeah, for your comment, I mean, I could see Thomas Graham making a strong case at the cornerback position. He was really underrated. I believe the only reason that he dropped was because he sat out. But I could see him definitely being that starting position or that nickel. Let's say that if Bill Doris starts at that cornerback position, yeah, Grant could totally be that slot corner. Because I think that Graham provides more upside than Duke Shelley does. And I like Duke Shelley, but he's more of a special teams guy. So yeah, that's what I think. Varsity, what team do you think Rodgers will go to? I mean, for me, I think that if Rodgers does get traded, it's probably going to be the Broncos. What about you, man?
yeah, I would agree. Broncos seems like a pretty good destination. I mean, they also don't have a quarterback right now. I mean, they have a quarterback, but not a good one. So I would say Broncos as well. I would also say
Yeah,
the Dolphins, though, are kind of going to be in the mix, even though, I mean, they've committed to Tua as of now, in the media, but there's been a lot of rumors about them back when the Deshaun Watson situation was going on, right? Like they might trade for Deshaun Watson. They might even select a top quarterback in the draft this year, but that didn't happen, obviously. So I still think they would be interested in Rodgers.
yeah. I think a lot of teams come to mind. I mean, let's say that the Carson Wentz situation does not work out with Indianapolis. Indianapolis is an option for Rodgers. I think Las Vegas is an option for Rodgers. I would even love to see Aaron Rodgers be on the Titans. Like I like Ryan Tannehill, but if Aaron Rodgers were to go on the Titans, that would be a really good team. And then yeah, the other teams that you said, and then Isaiah also asked trade Anthony Miller. Yeah, man. I mean, we tried to trade Anthony Miller in the draft, but that really did not work out. And yeah, what about you? Do you think we could trade Anthony Miller?
I mean, he has like no value right now. Like you're only gonna get probably like a seventh round pick, which at that point is it even worth it to trade him? Like might as well just give him one more chance this year. So I don't think it's gonna happen.
For sure. And if anything, we should be trying to trade Nick Foles. I mean, people
I know,
forget that Nick Foles is on this team.
dude.
I don't get why Nick Foles is on this team. I mean, I would love to see us trade Nick Foles to
Did
the
you see? So
Jets.
he was actually about to get traded to the Eagles before the draft, but he declined the trade. He was like, I don't want to go to the Eagles. And then the Eagles were
No,
like, well, we're not going to trade for you then if you don't want to be here. There was a report
yeah,
about that. I don't know how true it was, but
no, I saw that. I'm surprised that he didn't want to do that because if he were to go to Philly, he could have been the backup quarterback to Jalen Hurts, and that's a better
yeah,
situation than he
dude.
is right now in Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know why Nick Foles said that. Maybe he wants to go to a team like the Jets where he has a chance to start. Just waiting for a guy like Zach Wilson to develop and stuff. So yeah, I could see that. I think the Jets. That's where Nick Foles will end up next year. And then Jackson, will the Bears win the NFC North? Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, I think we have the best chance to win the NFC North. What about you, man?
Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, I would definitely say I think we're winning the NFC North because if you look at our roster compared to the Vikings, which are probably going to be our next biggest opponent in the division, I think we have a better overall roster. Like they have better receivers, they have maybe a little bit better of an offense, but if Justin Fields is anything close to what we think he can be, like I think he's going to be way better than Kirk Cousins, in the future. So defense is better for us, and I think we can. And yeah, we have a good shot to win the NFC North if Rodgers leaves.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the last question before you leave, and this is probably a good question to end it on, and I'll also answer more questions of you guys if you guys still want to hang around with me. But that question is that do you think that Justin Fields can win Rookie of the Year this year?
Yeah, dude, I think he has a really good shot. I mean, if you compare his situation to all the other rookies right now in the NFL, like rookie quarterbacks, that is, he probably has the best situation aside from Trey Lance because the roster is pretty good. He's not going to have a ton of pressure on him. I mean, there's going to be pressure, but not as much as for Zach Wilson or for Trevor Lawrence. So, the team is better, so he's probably going to have better stats. He has a good defense probably too, and a division that could be winnable. So, yeah, if the Bears are winning like 11 games next year, Fields has pretty good stats. I think he can win Rookie of the Year. What do you think, man?
For sure, I think that Justin Fields can win Rookie of the Year. And Isaiah, I'm going to incorporate your question into my answer. So, personally, for me, I think the bust of the QB class will be Zach Wilson. And the reason I say that is because the position that Zach Wilson is in New York is a really tough position. And for a quarterback to win in New York is similar to a quarterback winning in Chicago. But with Justin Fields on the other hand, he has a lot of weapons. Zach Wilson has Corey Davis as his number one receiver. So that kind of worries me a little bit. I think Justin Fields has way better of a chance to win more games than Trevor Lawrence. If you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's going to have a really good team around him. Sure, he's a legend. He's going to become really good quarterback in the NFL. But I just don't see that. Trey Lance, he's probably not going to start this year. Mac Jones, we'll have to see what that situation is with Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. And Zach Wilson, I already discussed. And Kellen Mond, if you were to throw his name in there, he's not going to start this year, and it's also the Vikings, and I think Justin Fields is the father of the Vikings, and so yeah, I think that Justin Fields has one of the best odds to win Rookie of the Year. Like if he can lead the team to the playoffs, yeah, he's winning Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts, man. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on to my live. It really. It means a lot towards me. Hope we can do some more in the future. But parting thoughts. Parting thoughts on the Bears. Where we'd like to see us go from here, and any guys you want us to kind of sign or trade for.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a really good future right now. Like if you compare our situation right now to a couple months ago, like the entire energy in the fan base is so different. The entire future of our franchise is looking so different. So I would just say, like, yeah, if you're a Bears fan, be excited. Like, be really excited because we finally, I think, have a good quarterback. And as for, what players we should still add to this roster, I would say, I mean, I really want to see us getting another offensive tackle because, the offensive tackle talent we have right now, obviously we have, Tevin Jenkins, a really good player from the draft. But on the other side, we don't really know what we're getting right now because we have another rookie and then we have guys that aren't that good. So, try to get Morgan Moses if you can. Try to get maybe another offensive tackle if you can't get him. But yeah, add more talent to the O-line. Maybe add another cornerback. But aside from that, I think we're pretty much set, and it's looking like a pretty good roster right now. So
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, and Michael, you are right. Like we have to see what Zach can do with weapons, and you're right. And then yeah, we can label him as a bust. I mean, don't be too quick to judge, right? We were too quick to judge. We were too quick to judge Trubisky, and yeah, we ended up being right. But I'm gonna give Zach Wilson some time. I'm gonna let the Jets do their thing. I still hope that Zach Wilson is the guy that we want him to be. Like I hope there are no QB busts in this draft. But for me, the guy that really sticks out to me is Zach. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. And Michael. I can't wait to see your Justin jersey, man. Join the DWC Discord, subscribe, and yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. And again, if you guys have any more questions, I would love to answer them for you. But I'm gonna let DWC go because he has something to do. Man. But yeah,
thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, we'll stay in touch. We'll definitely do in the future again.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. So guys, yeah, if you have any more questions, go ahead and ask them below. But if you don't have any, I think I'm just going to go end it here. So I'll give you guys like a minute or two. And yeah, but I just wanted to thank you all for your support. It means a lot towards me. And yeah, like getting 200 subscribers on YouTube is it's a big deal, and it's hard. So I just want to thank all of you for your support. But if you have any more questions for me, make sure to ask them. I'm gonna make sure I didn't skip over anyone's questions. So yeah, Anthony. I hope Rogers does retire so they don't get any picks. I mean, we'll have to see what happens with that situation. But I do think that if Rogers does not show up in July, I mean, I think the Packers would have to trade him. So, yeah, yeah. And Richard Sherman, yeah, he is just a name at this point, but he still has a lot of potential towards him. He still can be that guy who can help mentor Jalen Johnson, help mentor Kendall Bulldor and stuff. Yeah, Michael, thank you for finding my channel. But yeah, going back to what Richard Sherman, Richard Sherman used to be one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL, and I really feel like he can help mentor some of the younger guys. Personally for me, Kendall Bulldor needs more time to develop. So that's just my thoughts on Kendall Bulldor and stuff. But guys, doesn't look like you guys have any more questions. I'll give it like a minute, but thank you again so much for watching. Thank you guys for really supporting me. It means a lot towards me. Like, shout out to everyone who watched. Shout out to Isaiah, Tony, Floyd, Anthony, Varsity, Don't Copy My Style, Michael, and Jackson. Thank you all for your support. It means a lot towards me. And if you guys want me to do more lives, definitely let me know. And I'm just want to give you guys the best Bears content. But with that being said, everyone, thank you for watching, and bear down.